Why does someone choose silence even when they're hurting? And what finally pushed Taehyung to reveal a truth he'd buried for years, one even Jungkook didn't know existed? That is the question echoing across the fandom after Taehyung unexpectedly opened up in a moment no one saw coming. It felt like the emotions he'd been carrying for years suddenly spilled out at once, shocking ARMY and catching the entire world off guard. Just when the fandom atmosphere had finally calmed after weeks of rumors, Taehyung revealed something so raw that Jungkook froze, ARMY fell silent, and the global public began wondering what could possibly lie behind such a confession. The reaction was instant, hashtags shot to the top of global trends within minutes. Fans questioned whether it was tied to their long friendship, their difficult trainee days, or something deeper the public had never known. But one thing was certain, Taehyung had never looked so vulnerable. His tone, his expression, the way he formed his words, everything pointed to the fact that whatever he had bottled up was not something small or simple. Ironically, the moment started during a video shoot that was meant to be lighthearted, just memories, jokes, and comfortable nostalgia. No one expected the mood to shift so sharply. As Jungkook shared touching memories of their early years and how grateful he'd always been to have Taehyung beside him, the camera caught something subtle, a shift in Taehyung's face, the kind fans who have known him for years would instantly recognize. Something inside him was stirring. Staff noticed it. ARMY watching the replay noticed it. And then, the shift deepened. Then Taehyung sighed softly and said, voice trembling, "There's something none of you know, not even Jungkook knows." Those words changed everything. In that instant, ARMY held its breath. Taehyung never exposes himself like this. It was clear he'd been carrying something heavy, something he didn't actually want to say, yet needed to release. He revealed that he had kept a significant truth from Jungkook for years, not out of dishonesty or lack of trust, but out of fear. Fear of damaging their bond. Fear of disrupting a relationship that had survived more than a decade of overwhelming pressure. What he had hidden wasn't minor. It was something he should have confessed years ago, but never found the courage to confront. Psychology experts later analyzed his behavior and agreed that his confession showed layers of emotion, relief, regret, and fear all at once. Nonverbal specialists pointed out that his micro-expressions suggested he had been thinking about this moment for a long time, wrestling with when, or whether, to reveal it. Fans began speculating about the nature of the hidden incident. Some wondered if it stemmed from their trainee days, when life was unforgiving and every mistake felt heavier. Others believed Taehyung blamed himself for something that had happened long ago. Whatever the truth, Taehyung made it clear that the guilt had stayed with him for years. When Jungkook heard the first hint of Taehyung's admission, his expression changed instantly. He stopped smiling, lowered his gaze, and prepared himself to listen. No one, least of all ARMY, was ready for what came next. Taehyung explained that there were times when he felt distant from Jungkook even though they were always together. He confessed that he hadn't been there for Jungkook at moments when Jungkook was struggling the most. He hadn't recognized the signs, hadn't been sensitive enough, and had carried guilt for failing to be the supportive friend he wanted to be. Then he revealed there was a specific incident that had haunted him, one he never shared because he didn't want to burden Jungkook. That moment had shaped the way Taehyung behaved around him for years, making him protective, sensitive, and sometimes overly cautious. As the confession deepened, Jungkook's eyes began to redden. The room grew silent, the tension heavy enough that even staff paused what they were doing. Fans who watched later said they cried at how sincere Taehyung sounded, not because of the mistake itself, but because of the immense love and fear behind his words. This raised more questions. What kind of bond makes someone feel this much guilt? Why hide it so long? Why reveal it now, in front of cameras? Experts suggested that this wasn't just about one incident, it was about years of accumulated pressure, misunderstandings, unspoken worries, and the emotional toll of living under constant public scrutiny. Being an idol meant always pushing through pain, always appearing fine, always carrying weight silently. Taehyung admitted he often felt guilty when Jungkook smiled because he sometimes saw shadows of their past behind that smile. But he hid everything to protect Jungkook, thinking it was better to stay silent than risk hurting him. Eventually, he realized that honesty, even painful honesty, is essential for any relationship to survive. When Taehyung finished, the room froze. Jungkook slowly lifted his head and whispered, "Hyung, why do you think I wouldn't understand?" That simple question broke Taehyung. His voice cracked as he admitted he feared Jungkook would be disappointed in him, that he would lose Jungkook's trust. Instead, Jungkook stood up, walked over to him, and reminded him that nothing could break a friendship built over so many years. "No one is perfect," he said. "What matters is the courage to be honest now." That moment alone became one of the most emotional interactions ever captured on camera between them. Fans around the world reacted with overwhelming support. Analysts praised the moment as proof of the group's emotional maturity, proof that their connection isn't a performance, but deeply real. Taehyung later said he felt lighter after the confession, as though a massive weight had finally been lifted. He didn't reveal the details of the incident, and the public respected that. Fans emphasized that not everything needs to be exposed. What matters is that Taehyung was honest, Jungkook understood, and their bond grew stronger. Over the following days, Jungkook stayed close to Taehyung, offering reassurance through small gestures seen in behind-the-scenes clips. Experts called this behavior a sign of emotional validation, Jungkook making sure Taehyung felt safe after revealing something so vulnerable. Media outlets worldwide covered the event, calling it a rare and powerful display of sincerity in an industry that often discourages emotional openness. Korean fans, who have followed their journey since debut, expressed that Taehyung should never feel guilty for being human. In the end, Taehyung's confession became more than a viral moment, it became a reminder that even idols carry unseen burdens. Their friendship didn't weaken, it evolved, strengthened by honesty and trust. It marked the beginning of a new chapter, one built not on perfection, but on understanding, forgiveness, and genuine emotional connection.